What's up, everyone? We're back with Game 4 of India versus China, with China having a 2-1 lead versus India. And this time I'm playing the game. So I'm playing for India right now, and Separation is playing for China. And Separation is China's best player. He's made OLT finals. He's overall a really, really good player. And it's such a critical state, 2-1. I needed to be at my best for this game. And I used a team built around Future Sight Slowking and then SD Bisharp. And the reason I like SD Bisharp more than Choice Band is because versus a lot of weaker threats, you're actually able to Swords Dance and do even more damage than Band ever could. And that, along with the freedom of switching moves, was really attractive to me. So I decided to use Swords Dance instead of Choice Band. And then I have a Specs Dragapult, a bulky Garchomp, a Calm Mind Clefabelle, and then also U-turn Corviknight. So I can U-turn and get Dragapult in, I can U-turn and get Bisharp in. And Separation is using a hyper offense team. Well, maybe not hyper offense, but definitely an offensive team. And at team preview, what I'm really scared about is Tapu Fini. Because Calm Mind Tapu Fini can just basically win versus my team. So, especially if it has Taunt. So at team preview, I'm thinking, okay, it's either Calm Mind Tapu Fini with Choice Scarf Zapdos, or it could be Choice Scarf Tapu Fini and then Choice Banded Zapdos. I wasn't really sure. So I decided to lead Dragapult, expecting Garchomp, because Garchomp can set up Stealth Rock. But instead he leads Zeraora, and I get the lead matchup wrong. So I simply go to Garchomp here, because it's a safe play. I take 23 damage, and he reveals to be Life Orb. And that's both good and bad. It's good because that means every attack it makes, it's going to be losing health. But it's also bad because that means it can, one-hit KO Corviknight, for example. So I have to be a little more careful around it. So he's forced out and I Stealth Rock. And here another thing I'm scared of is Garchomp, because if it can get a Scale Shot up, then it can outspeed my Dragapult. And I have a specially defensive Clefabelle. So I can actually lose to, if it gets a Swords Dance and a Scale Shot. So I have to be really careful. And I decide to Toxic the Garchomp, just, to put it on a timer. And now Garchomp is basically walled by Corviknight. And without the Toxic, Corviknight doesn't do that well versus Garchomp, because it can Swords Dance or maybe even Scale Shot. So I decide to Toxic it, and then because Corviknight is walled, I'm expecting him to double switch. So I'm expecting him to maybe go Zeraora or maybe to Moltres Galar. And what I do is I actually Toxic again, expecting a double switch. But he doesn't double switch and he Earthquakes, so I wasted a turn doing nothing. And maybe my play was too ambitious, I didn't need to make that play, but I felt like, okay, I'm so confident that he'll double switch, let me Toxic the switch in, Moltres Galar, Zeraora. So that didn't work out for me, and the next turn I go Corviknight. And now he Scale Shots and misses, but that's not a huge deal. And I get a free U-turn off here. And he goes Zapdos Galar, because I assume he expected me to defog and he wanted Defiant. But I just U-turn to play it safe. And I really want to go Dragapult here to start putting some offensive pressure. But I don't know the Zapdos set yet. I don't know if it's Choice Band or Choice Scarf. So what I do is I go Slowking. And Slowking can live any Choice Banded hit. So based on the damage here, I can tell, okay, is it Choice Banded or Choice Scarf? He U-turns, and this reveals Choice Band. So now I know it's Choice Band, which is good. And here I teleport, and I go Corviknight, and I could have gone Bisharp too. And the reason I didn't go Bisharp was I was scared of close combat with potentially max speed Aegislash, for example, because I'm running Adamant, and Adamant hits 239, and Aegislash can hit 240, and I was worried, Aegislash is a UU Pokemon, it's not common, so if he's going to be using it, maybe he has some, special strategy, or maybe it's a lure set to specifically kill Bisharp. I wasn't sure, so I played Corviknight instead. And in hindsight, maybe I was playing it too safe, and I should have just gone Bisharp. But at the time, in my head, I was thinking that, Aegislash is such a weird pick. He must have something special prepared. So I didn't go for that Bisharp play here. So I use Corviknight just to U-turn, and he goes Tapu Fini. And I decide that Clefabelle is my best bet right now. And when he doesn't reveal leftovers, I'm thinking, okay, it has to be Choice Scarf. And he tricks me the Choice Scarf, and from my point of view, I'm thinking this is a good trade because now Tapu Fini doesn't outspeed Dragapult. So if I can use Clefabelle to weaken Tapu Fini, that's a good thing for me because Dragapult can be quite strong later in the game. So we basically just trade Moonblasts, and eventually my Clefabelle gets really low on health. And meanwhile, the Tapu Fini is also getting low on health. But I decide, let me just go Slowking and keep Clefabelle for a rainy day, because maybe with Choice Scarf I can be useful for chip damage on something. And with Choice Scarf, I expected him to be Moonblast, Hydro, maybe Calm Mind, or maybe Ice Beam even. I didn't expect him to use Taunt. I expected my Slowking to be able to just heal up. So that puts me in a bad spot right now. And I just Future Sight here, and then I wanted to keep Clefabelle alive, but it's unrealistic now. So I sacrifice Clefabelle, and that means that Tapu Fini takes Future Sight, and I simply go Dragapult to Revenge Kill it. And then, in hindsight, now you can see why Moltres Galar is a problem. And maybe I should have kept Clefabelle and sacked Slowking, for example. So, a little bit of a hindsight thing, maybe I made the wrong sacrifice here. And now, I don't want to risk Bisharp, so I decide to just sack my Garchomp to the Moltres. Because Garchomp isn't going to do much besides check Zeraora. So I go Bisharp here, and I just attack. And he sacrifices Garchomp here. And I reveal that I'm not banded. So he knows I'm Sucker Punch. He knows I'm Swords Dance right now. He goes Zapdos, and I decide to sacrifice Slowking. And I could have stayed in potentially, but I didn't want to risk dying. So I was like, it's fine. And he goes Zeraora, and this is the crucial point of the match. So Bisharp can beat Aegislash, it can beat Moltres Galar, and Sucker Punch can kill Zeraora. And so it's kind of tricky how to navigate this endgame because Separation does not want to choke it away. And I'm thinking, and from my point of view, I'm thinking that, Sucker Punch is quite obvious and he might just bulk up. So I Swords Dance predicting the bulk up, right? And that works out for me. And now the same situation comes again. Does he bulk up or does he attack? And do I Sucker Punch or do I attack? And here I made a mistake. And what I did was I predicted bulk up. Okay, I predicted bulk up, but then I knocked off. And if I predicted bulk up, why wouldn't I have just Swords Danced? So that was a mistake. If I predicted bulk up, I should have Swords Danced and then suckered next turn, right? So I made the right predict, but the wrong play. And now what happens is Zapdos Galar comes in, but I just barely don't get the kill. And now I die. And now the game's over because I cannot touch Aegislash because Dragapult dies to Shadow Sneak, and then Corviknight doesn't have any good attacking moves versus the Aegislash. So that was a blunder by me because I made the right predict, okay? I knocked off expecting bulk up, but I should have Swords Danced if I expected bulk up. And now I just simply lose to Aegislash right now because of the combination of Shadow Sneak and the fact that I cannot touch it with Corviknight. Like, my best move to touch it is U-turn. So that's that. India is now down 1-3 versus China. And it's a best of 7. So India's back is against the wall right now. And if they lose the next game, they are out of the tournament. So a really, really important game coming up for Game 5. And if you want to be updated for that game, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Thank you.